Welcome, boys and girls, to another edition of Snack Time with a Dollop of Read Aloud. We're going to continue to read Medusa Jones by Ross Collins, with permission given by Scholastic Publishing for us to share this book together. So, in today's reading, we're going to discover that Medusa has a problem. We learned about Medusa's problem yesterday in our chapter 5 that we read. And that problem was that she had to deal with bullies, right? The bullies are the champions. And it got worse once they discovered that they were getting a less than favorable trip. They were going camping as opposed to going to Neptune's world. So that is going to carry into what happens in today's chapter. Okay? So here we go. "I'm not going," said Medusa. "It's not open for debate, honey," said Medusa's mom. It was Friday evening, and Medusa was sitting in the garden watching her mom rake up the leaves that gathered around the feet of the petrified postman. Cerberus was snuffing around at the bottom of the fence. He had spotted a squirrel a second ago, but it had darted away. And now his heads were in disagreement as to which direction to go. Medusa and her friends had just had the worst week of their lives, and they were not looking forward to the weekend. The champions blamed them entirely for not bagging the trip to Neptune's world, and had made their lives a living Hades. So, Hades for Medusa is the opposite of heaven. Okay? It's just another word for it. So here's the poor petrified postman, and there's Cerberus trying to find the squirrel. So cute. On Tuesday after school, Theseus pushed Mino into a door so hard that it had taken them more than an hour to get his horns unstuck. On Thursday, the champions took turns following Sheeran around all day with a shovel and a bucket in case he needed to go. And today, Perseus had thrown a terrible mouse onto Medusa's head, and she had to battle with her own hair to save its life. "I'm ill," said Medusa, and gave her mom a small, unconvincing cough. "No, you're not," said Medusa's mom. She pushed the last of the leaves down into a basket and came over to sit next to Medusa. "It might not be so bad. All of your friends are going anyways." "It will be bad," Medusa groaned. "I can see my friends any weekend, and it's much better than being stuck with those goofs." Here's Medusa and her mom sitting on the bench chatting. Medusa looks pretty pitiful. "Well, you'll just have to be brave then, sweetie," said Medusa's mom, and stroked one of her head snakes which curled around her finger affectionately. "Sometimes you have to face people or things you don't want to." "I don't remember you ever having to face someone you didn't want to," Medusa huffed. "You weren't very big when I had to go down to the central post office, dear," said Medusa's mom. "That was the last place on earth I wanted to go. Can you imagine how embarrassing it was to apologize for all of those poor, petrified postmen?" "That's not even easy to say," Medusa said. "It certainly isn't," said Medusa's mom as she smiled down at her. "I had to go there and face all of those irate postmen." Irate means really angry. "Those postmen thought that all Gorgons were monsters. I really didn't want to do it. In fact, I dreaded it." "Then why did you?" Medusa asked. "Well," she paused for a moment and thought, "I guess it's because I didn't want the life for you that Gran had had. Plus, I was sick of collecting our mail, and your dad put his back out lugging all of those petrified postmen to the backyard. I think you're missing the message here, Medusa grinned. Well, I'm not really sure there is one, Medusa's mom confessed, but I know that after I did that really difficult task of apologizing, I felt better. Why don't you take Cerebus with you on the trip? He'll sort those chumpions out. Oh, I don't think Cerb will be allowed to go, Medusa said. We'll think of something, dear, said Medusa's mom. Cerebus heard his name being mentioned and came running over in case it involved biscuits. Medusa ruffled his ears. Can we burn the leaves, Mom? Asked Medusa. Of course, her mom said. The posties look really pretty in the firelight. All right, so the posties, just so you know, they're the poor postmen that have now become lawn decorations. All right, so in that chapter, it was a short chapter, but in that chapter, something important happened. Medusa had a problem she didn't want to deal with, the Chumpians, and going on a field trip with the Chumpians to a place that the Chumpians didn't want to go. And they were blaming Medusa and her friends, and they were treating them really terribly all week. So she definitely didn't want to spend time with them on her weekend. So Medusa tried to get out of it. And her mom said, you have to deal with your problems. So that's what we're going to focus on today. In today's reading, Medusa tried to hide from her problems. But her mom told her she needed to deal with her troubles. So what I want you to do today, guys, is I want you to really think. And I want you to make a connection. Now that connection can be a text to text. So between another book or a magazine article you read, it could be text to world. So that means maybe a television show you watched, a movie you watched, a story you listened to, maybe something that happened to somebody else that you remember, or text to self. And I want you to think about having to deal with something that was difficult. And it might have been so difficult that you didn't want to deal with it. But that's what I really want you to think about today. I want you to put yourself in Medusa's shoes. And I want you to think, does this remind you of something else? And then I would like for you to please share that comment in the comment section below. Because the more you can kind of wrap your head around the problems that Medusa is going through, the easier it is for you to understand the choices that she's going to make, as well as who she is as a person. Because we're still going to go back to our character trait chart in a little bit. All right? So this is what you're doing today. You're going to think, can I connect with the problem that Medusa went through or is going through? Or have I ever had to deal with something difficult? And it doesn't have to be you. It can be maybe I read a book about someone having to deal with something difficult. Maybe it was a movie about someone who had to deal with something difficult. Whatever it is that you can think of that connects to what Medusa went through today, I would like for you to share with us in the comment section below. Okay? Now don't forget, today is going to be the last read aloud that we have for about a week because spring break starts on Friday. Okay? So, even though I'm not going to be reading to you, I really, really hope that once you disconnect from the computer and the tablets and the phones, that you just take some time to really enjoy yourself. And a great way to enjoy yourself is just to enjoy a fabulous book. Okay? I can't wait to see you at 11 o'clock at our very special Thursday class share. And I can't wait to hear the connections that you're making between Medusa's struggle and a struggle that you have either heard of or experienced yourself. All right? So, as always, I miss you, I love you, and stay safe. Bye, guys.